Human development is about enlarging people's choices and enabling them to live long, healthy and creative lives. It is about much more than the rise and fall of national incomes. Human development is about fighting poverty, but it is also about living with dignity. The goal is human freedom.
Human development approach is an approach where we concentrate on human lives, its richness, the well-being, the freedoms, and how they are developing, how they are changing, and how they can be further enhanced.
I think we should get to tell the story of development in terms of how people are faring, not just how production is doing.
Some economists, particularly Mahbub ul-Haq, the great leader of this, feeling unhappy, many of us felt for that for many years, that all the economic measures like GNP, etc., concentrated on something rather alienated from human life, commodities, goods, not people and their lives and their freedom.
The Human Development Report was first launched in 1990 with the single goal of putting people back at the centre of the development process rather than markets. It is an independent report commissioned by the United Nations Development Programme.
Well, I think the quality of human life is reflected in the Human Development Reports. I wouldn't say they are measured as such. Measurement is only a part of the story. The main thing is rich description. And even though poverty is often the lack of freedom to buy enough food, to have enough medicine, to have the opportunity of going to school, it also can take the form of not having the cultural freedom to pursue your lifestyle.
I think one of the central points that Human Development Report makes is that it's not the level of income that matters, it is the use that is made of that income. Same income can be used for essential medicines, can also be used for narcotics. It can be used for military equipment and tanks. It can also be used for road construction.
The Human Development Index is one part of each year's report. It ranks most countries in the world in terms of 3 basic human needs: health, education, and income.
What Human Development Index does is to try to get a summary picture based on a few aspects of human life, because in one number you cannot capture a gross reality beyond only a few variables. So it picks up 3 factors. One is longevity, life expectancy, another is education and literacy, and third is poverty and the level of income. And these 3 put together in a weighted form, in an index, produces a number which still leaves out many things. So it couldn't be an index of all of human development.
The Human Development Index really helped to generate political competition. And just as competition is very good in markets to make them efficient, political competition is also very good.
Well, the Human Development Index is a very crude measure, but it's a better crude measure than the gross national product or gross domestic product.
There are a whole range of issues that the Human Development Reports have brought onto the agenda, thinking about political freedom as a critical dimension of development, thinking about social justice. I think the Human Development Report brings to bear considerations which are rooted in ethical traditions and in traditions of social justice. The world that we live in and the inequalities in that world and the state in which billions of the world people live is morally unacceptable. In the Human Development Report, we've consistently highlighted inequality as a major development challenge. And I think the evidence now is very clear that inequality is a barrier to economic growth, that inequality is a source of conflict, that inequality is a source of social dislocation, and that most people are deeply concerned about inequality.
year, the reports analyse the prospects for human development in light of current global trends. They are a comment on matters of concern to poor and rich.
One of the big development challenges of our day is globalisation.
The most positive aspects of globalization is that it's adding to efficiency and dynamism in the world economy today. The negative aspect is that it is cutting some people out as rapidly as it is cutting some people in.
The big challenge for development will be working out that kind of political dynamic within rich countries to create, to promote technology, trade, investment policies that will be helpful for poor countries.
Trade is a human development issue because it's one of the threads that links rich countries to poor countries.
It's far better to enable the poor to have access to market opportunities rather than to keep them on charity.
In the poor countries, they also on the rich countries, who may for once find a common yardstick, something that unites us rather than divides us.
There is no alternative still right now other than the Human Development Report. So it has a role, it has a place, it has a function, which I think will continue for many years. And when that becomes unnecessary, we will be in a happier world, I think.